Namaskar. Today it's June 6th, 2026. Welcome to day 85 of Satvik Yogi Path. Each year on March 14 begins my 100 days journey in returning to the essence of yoga towards the celebration of International Day of Yoga on June 21st. This year, I chose to revisit Maharishi Patanjali's Yoga Sūtra and share my daily practices inspired by it. Today, it's day 85. Once again, welcome to 85th day of Satvik Yogi Path. Today, Maharishi Patanjali explains why negative thoughts must be replaced. In Yoga Sūtra 2.34 or the 34th Yoga Sūtra from the second chapter Sadhana Pad. But prior to that, let us just recap what we did yesterday. Yesterday, in day 84, we learned the method. Replace negative thoughts with their opposite. That's the method. Today, Maharishi Patanjali explains the reason negative thoughts always produce suffering. No exceptions. So, what is the Yoga Sūtra? Let us recite the Yoga Sūtra. Are you ready? Yoga Sūtra 3.2.34 is quite big. So let's recite it. Vitarka hinsadayah कृतकारिता अनुमोदिता लोभ क्रोध मोह पूर्वका मध्य मृदु अधिमात्रा दुख अज्ञान अनंत काल फला अनंत फला इति pratipakṣa bhāvanam. Let's recite it once again. Vitarka hinsa daya. Vitarka hinsa daya. कृतकारिता अनुमोदिता लोभ क्रोध मोह पूर्वका मृदु मध्य अधिमात्राः दुख अज्ञान अनंत कालः दुख ज्ञान अनंत फलाः इति pratipakṣa bhāvanam. So yes, we got to break the Yoga Sutra word by word to understand, get a better understanding. But what it means is negative thoughts such as violence, whether done, caused, or approved, whether arising from greed, anger, or delusion, whether it is mild, medium, or intense, it leads to endless suffering and ignorance. And therefore, cultivate the opposite. Yesterday we learned the method. Today, Maharishi Patanjali explains why we must practice pratipakṣa bhāvanā. The opposite thought, the consciously choosing the opposite thought. So, let us try to understand a little better by breaking it down word by word. Let's do it. First, since it is a very long Yoga Sutra, vitarkaha, vitarka, harmful thoughts. Hinsa, dayaha, violence and similar tendencies. We are talking about negative thoughts. Vitarkaha, the harmful thoughts. Hinsa, dayaha, violence and similar tendencies. Krita, done by oneself. Karita, krita, karita, caused in others. Anumodita, silently approved. So, a negative thought can be either done or cause, like not done directly, but may cause, or silently approving. Whether it arises from lobh, greed, or it arises from anger, krodh, or it arises from delusion, moha, or mridu, madhya, adhimatra, mild, medium, intense. Dukh, suffering. Agyan, ignorance. Ananta, phala, endless consequence. In pratipakṣa, bhāvanam. Therefore, iti pratipakṣa bhavanam. Therefore, cultivate the opposite. So, Yoga Sutra 2.34 explains the result of negative thoughts, no matter what. It leads to endless suffering and ignorance. Therefore, cultivate opposite thought. So, together, which means negative thoughts of any kind, in any degree, lead to suffering. Therefore, practice the opposite. So, Maharishi Patanjali lists 3 ways negativity harm us. First, let me give a shout out, quickly give a shout out to Maris, Maricela Garcia, Marcela Garcia 5990. Thank you for joining today's practice. I am very thankful to you for you have joined this. Today we are going to practice the 34th Yoga Sutra from the second chapter, Sadhana Pad, by Maharishi Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. And also, each year, March 14 begins my 100 days journey in returning to the essence of yoga towards celebration of International Day of Yoga on June 21st, which means from today being the 85th day, we only have 15 days to celebrating International Day of Yoga on June 21st. So Maharishi Patanjali lists 3 ways negativity harms us. How? The one, it's done by oneself. You think it and act it. So done by oneself. Krita. Caused in others. Karita. You influence someone else to think or act negatively. And the third is approved silently. Anumodita. You agree internally even if you don't act. So, yoga says that all 3 create the same inner disturbance. Whether it is done, or it is caused, or it is silently approved. So, all 3 create the same inner disturbance. And there are three roots of negative thoughts. What are the roots? Greed, craving, wanting more, anger, reacting harshly, and delusion, misunderstanding reality. These are the three poisons of the mind: greed, anger, delusion. So these are the roots of negative thoughts. And three intensities: mild, a small irritation; medium, a strong reaction; intense and overwhelming negativity. Maharishi Patanjali says even the mildest negativity has consequences. Hence the result: endless suffering. Negative thoughts disturb the mind, cloud clarity, strengthen ego, create karmic impressions, block meditation, deepen ignorance. The result: endless suffering. And this is why Maharishi Patanjali insists, as soon as you have a negative thought, you replace them immediately with consciously choosing an opposite thought. So, here is something that we can perhaps relate to. We imagine a small spark in a dry forest. Even a tiny spark can spread, grow, become a fire, destroy the forest. Negative thoughts are the same. Even a mild thought, if left unchecked, can grow into a pattern. Pratipakṣa bhāvanā is the act of putting out the spark before it becomes a fire. Negativity is not punished, negativity is consequential. So it is not punished, but it is consequential. It has consequences. When you change your thoughts, you change your destiny. So today we have 4-step stillness practice. And what are these? We can practice Yoga Sūtra 34th in 4 steps. What are these simple steps? The step 1 is we name the sutra intention. We are practicing Yoga Sūtra 2.34, understanding the consequences of negative thoughts. We name the sutra intention. Then we bring one real moment to mind. Think of one moment today where a negative thought arose, even a mild one. Even a mild one. Well, I can give an example. I was driving my family this afternoon to some place, a happy to celebrate with friends. It was a nice place where we were going to join and celebrate. And on the way, I was driving the car, and there was another car that was driving, but recklessly, I can say. And I tried to calm myself down, but the reckless driving, and at a point it felt like as if the driver was purposely doing it to bother others in others lane as well. So just constantly changing lanes, and without even caring that it could turn into a huge accident. But no. So at a point I felt, almost I was about to get angry. So as it continued, it was a long drive. As it continued, it so happened that I didn't want to get angry, and I remembered pratipakṣa bhāvanā. And there was a, about half a mile later, I knew there was a service area, and I decided I would just take a short break so that I can avoid the anger that is building on me. And that's how I tried to bring in pratipakṣa bhavna, so that due to I wanted to replace the anger at that time. And now I give that as an example because that was a situation where maybe in the past or if I had not practiced the opposite thought, I may have, my anger may have increased, and I really don't know what would have happened. Maybe I would have just, you know, stopped or done something then and there by just maybe screaming at my family or whatever. I did not want to do that. Instead, I practiced pratipakṣa bhavana, which is consciously choosing the opposite thought, consciously choosing the opposite thought. And hence, I could avoid that situation because it is let the world do whatever. I do not want to let the anger increase in me. So I tried that and it worked. So definitely bring one real moment to mind. You would think of one moment today where a negative thought arose, even a mild one. Then apply the sutra in silence and you ask gently, wait, what was the root of my irritation? Was it greed, anger, or delusion? And when you see the root, then you can apply the opposite thought. So sit with that thought, opposite feeling for few breaths. Well, at that time, I just had to continue to drive. I could not just sit with the thought and continue to sit with breaths because it was a real time practice of pratipakṣa bhavana that I had the opportunity to practice. And then, but in practice, if similar situation arise, you could just do this practice on a daily basis as you find your spot, your back and spine straight, and you just breathe in and out. You settle your breath, you steady your body, and you practice the Yoga Sūtra. And then you seal it with Om, placing one hand gently over your nabhi, and you take a deep breath in, and with exhalation, Om. So when you practice on a daily basis or on a regular basis, you can apply these 4 steps. What are the 4 steps? The first step is that you name the sutra intention. That today I'm practicing Yoga Sutra 2.34. What is Yoga Sutra 2.34? That I am learning the root cause of the negative thought that arose, and then once I've learned the root cause, whether it's greed, whether it is anger, or if it is delusion, then I apply the opposite thought. And when you name the sutra intention, and then you bring one real moment to mind, and then apply the sutra in silence. And then you seal it with Om and Bhavana. Bhavana is contemplating. And you say that let me choose thoughts that lead to peace. So I will choose the thought. This is pratipakṣa bhavana, consciously choosing the opposite thought. So that concludes our stillness, the 4 step stillness practice for day 85 Yoga Sutra 2.34. So, like every day, you have a challenge. Today, day 85 challenge is that you catch one negative thought today. Yes, you have to be observant and identify its root: greed or anger or delusion. So that is what your challenge is. You would catch one negative thought today and you would identify its root. Day 85 teaches us that negative thoughts of any kind, in any degree, lead to suffering. And this is why yoga asks us to cultivate the opposite. So, tomorrow we explore how to strengthen positive thoughts and how the mind becomes lighter through practice. Thank you for showing up every day. Your steadiness is the real journey. We meet again tomorrow, day 86, with Yoga Sutra 2.35, 35th Yoga Sutra from second chapter, Sadhana Path. Until then, stay warm, stay open, and most importantly, stay honest to your own story. I thank you for your presence.